why is money very important to you? Why money matters?
Like I said, it's one of the things they didn't teach in school. Our temperament determines how we do very many things, including how we deal with money.
When it comes to the sanguines, okay, how is their relationship with money?
The sanguines who fell in the Quail family, because they asked many questions, and by the time questions were getting answered, the bubble had burst. Financially, you stop being a child when you move out. As long as you stay in, you're using somebody's resources to continue your life, count yourself a child. We should never pull numbers from the air for a budget. You can't say, I'll spend 5,000 or 10,000 for transport. What is the basis? The best basis is your experience. When you capture your expenses on MyZora or any other tool, you'll be very clear how much did I spend.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us today. Welcome back to episode 2 of Money Matters, powered by MyZora, a continuation of basically our first episode. And today we have, let me call him a legend today with us, talking about 2 very important matters. So I will allow him to take it over. But just before that, please remember to like, subscribe, and share this episode. And moving forward, thank you.
Thank you for having me here. And thank you for accepting me in this channel. My name is Wahome Ngari. I'm the founder and the chief executive officer at the Personal Finance Academy. I'm a financial literacy coach. My business is very easy. Help people work around a very complex system called money. And that's why when we come to Money Matters, we want to discuss that complex system so that people can grow better with their money. And this is through financial literacy programs, structured programs. This is through personal coaching. This is through talks. And all that can help people to understand this complex system.
Okay. Thank you so much. So, Mr. Wahome, I know you're on a personal level, but why is money very important to you? Why money matters?
Why money matters? Like I said, it's one of the things they didn't teach in school. It is one of the things that everybody has to deal with. It is a system that's not well understood, and we have to help people, then it becomes important. At any rate, money is the currency of life. Everybody has to deal with money. For all the things that we have to do, we have to deal with money. If we don't get the proper grounding, if we don't get the proper lessons, then obviously we learn from the college of hard knocks. And in the college of hard knocks, sometimes you get knocked very hard and you lose big money. You can learn from the University of Life, but it takes too long to be able to put the lessons together. So it's easier to learn from others. And I occupy that space where I help individuals, I help families, I help corporates so that they can be able to do better with their money.
Okay, thank you. So the first thing or their first agenda is something called temperaments. Most people say I'm an extrovert. That means maybe I'm loud. Okay, I'm quiet. I'm an introvert. Could you maybe explain to us in depth, what are these temperaments? Is it only about being an extrovert, introvert? Does it affect our money habits? What does it do to us in detail, please?
Okay, now, just like you mentioned, humanity can be divided basically into 2 groups.
Yeah.
We have extroverts and we have introverts. Roughly, extroverts are all those people who get comfortable easily in new spaces, with new ideas, with new concepts. Very easy, without a lot of problems. They'll get into new people, and they will actually flow in quite easily. Okay. Introverts, on the other side, are people who find it easier in familiar ground, where they are with people they understand, with systems they understand. That's their comfort zone. And all of us know I'm either comfortable when I meet strangers or I'm comfortable when I meet strangers. So you can tell whether you are an introvert or an extrovert. Now, having divided everybody into 2, some are extreme, some are middle of the road. Now, having divided everybody into 2, we come into something we call the temperament.
Okay.
We are all uniquely different. Every person, every one of the 7 billion people traveling on this earth are all different. And there are differences that we know about. You know our thumbprints, we know our DNA, we know the hair structure, all those differences we know. But subconsciously, we are also different. There's something that sits in our subconscious that tells us the things that we have to do. That's why while we are doing the same thing, we tend to do it very, very differently. That difference that we have in our subconscious, which is a birth code, something we are born with, that determines how how we do very many things is what we call our temperament. And so
Okay.
when we look at our temperament, now we see that we can divide now people into different temperaments. So that
Okay.
explains what the temperament is.
So, like, when you say now the temperament, does it mean like maybe under the extrovert, you would have different extremes of extroverts? Is that what you're telling us?
Yes, what I'm saying is there are people who are extroverted, but their temperament now helps us to understand them even much better. There are people who are introverted, but their temperament also helps us to understand them better. So when you're looking at the extroverted people, psychologists have been studying this thing for many years, from maybe 400 BC or something like that. There's a Greek scientist was called Hippocrates who studied this thing, and it's been studied today, and that's why we have psychometric testing to help people know where they are. So when we borrow from the psychologists, what they have found out is that our temperament determines how we do very many things, including how we deal with money. Now, one of the groups that the psychometric test and psychologists have helped us to identify are people called sanguines. Sanguines are extroverts who are talkative, people who find it easier to mix with new people, people who love fun all the time, people who are very optimistic, and people who gel in easily. And when they have a chance to show off, they show off. Those are sanguines. And we call them the flowers of the world. They give this world life. And they are great people to be around because they will tell you an exciting story all the time. It doesn't matter what it is. There's always a nice thing to talk about it. They convert work into fun. They convert relationships into fun. They are very emotional. They show their emotions easily. If you meet somebody who happily gives you a hug or gives you a high five and they're excited, now you can see who the sanguine is. They dress in brilliant colors so that you can even spot them from a distance.
Okay. I like that. So now when it comes to the sanguines, how is their relationship with money, or maybe what careers do such people who fall in this category thrive in? And of course, in everything, there's a strength, there's a weakness. So, yeah.
Okay, let's think about these people who are jolly, who are happy all the time. So what careers would they fit in? They'll fit in those careers where you need to stand up and speak to people. So they will make very good people in sales, in marketing, in PR. They will go into politics. They will go into teaching. These are our televangelists. You can actually see them. They are colorful people wherever they are. They are politicians. Just look at our politicians over the weekend and how they dress in very floral colors. That's the way they are. They thrive on the ability to stand and speak. That's where they earn. And they make big money wherever they go because they are able to speak a lot about it. As a person, what's their personal weakness is that they actually don't focus on one thing for long. They look for fun. And if new fun comes, the old fun goes. So if they are reading a book, they are unlikely to finish it. They can actually watch a series, 2-3 series at the same time without following each other. Now, they consistently don't stick in one place for long. So if they take a job for 2 years, that's too long. They will change into another job. So they move quite fast. But they have their own strengths. They're big influencers. They cause people to focus in a given direction. They are very compassionate. They bring their heart into things. They are people you can easily trust because they come with their heart. But now when we come to money, I think that's where we can actually be able to see them. If you have to make your life fun, then money comes in very handy. So they find shopping very easily. They will buy easily. You know what you call impulse buying? That's very common for them. Yes, if they see something, it is exciting, they buy. The other reason why they buy quickly is because they speak. Every time you go speaking to different people, to hawkers here, you will find you have to buy. So they buy many things. And sometimes they buy, when they feel a bit bored, they will hit the shop, they will get a thrill out of buying. And when they get back home, maybe they don't like these things. They don't like what they bought, but they bought it anyway. And they are early adopters. When we have a new phone, we have a new technology, they're among the people who buy it very, very fast. Now, consequently, because of how they do their things, it is easier for them to get into debt. because
Wow.
even when they're short of money, they still want to get into debt. And in their mind, generally,
Yes.
they want funds. So wherever the money is going to come from, they will not consider the cost of the money.
Yeah.
They will not consider maybe how they're going to pay that money. So they might end up with a lot of debt. So they might live a very exciting life, but
Yes.
there's a risk if they don't structure themselves, if they don't set up goals, they
Yes.
might find challenges ahead in life. Yeah.
Okay, yes, because I believe like for some of these people, I would not want Wahome. I'm used to people knowing that I have money. So even when I'm struggling, I'd rather borrow. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay.
You have a show,
Yeah.
they show up. So I want to have maybe a new outfit, a
Yes.
new car. I need
Yes.
to, people must see that
Yes.
I am out there. They show it. So,
If it's the latest
and when they have
iPhone.
something new, they will talk about it.
Oh,
so as
yeah.
a result of that, they easily find themselves getting into debt.
Debt.
They don't like long-term goals. They like living today. So they find it's holiday season.
Yeah.
Let's hit it. When it comes in January, tutajua vile tutafanya, but let's hit it now.
Especially with this season. And I believe even when it comes to, they would opt for shorter investments, anything that money can go in, out. That's what they would
Yes,
prefer.
if you're looking for investment, and I must caution, that's why they actually get scammed easily, because they look at returns very quickly. They don't want to get involved in deep details. They want the return. So in case of investment, they are looking at where can I put in my money and get it tomorrow. They don't want long-term investments. That's not for them. Life is for living, and we live now. We must enjoy the party now.
Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Is there another category of extroverts?
Yes, there's another category of extroverts. So we talked about the sanguine.
Sanguines, yes.
Great people who give us color.
Yeah.
But basically, like when they come into our training programs, we help them to be a bit structured. Shop in a structured way. Set up goals and forecast the money. Because if you don't tell the money where it's going, it will demand to go anyway.
That's true.
For them, the emotions help their money to go. When they're making a contribution, they want to make the biggest contribution and they want everybody to know. So that sometimes hurts them. Now, the second category who are extroverted are called cholerics.
Cholerics,
now, these are people who are doers. They like doing. You see, the sanguine was adventurous. Now, these ones are doers. They like action. So wherever they go, they want things done. Not talking about things. Let's get it done. Let's get into doing it. They are dynamic. They are people who are natural readers. They get things moving. So they like taking charge wherever they go. And it's easier to know them because they don't ask for other people's opinion. At any rate, they tend to tell people what to do. They work with authority. They talk with authority. They sit with authority. They read other people. And that's why in life, they will fit in those careers where we are looking for leadership. We're looking for charisma. We're looking for productivity.
Yeah.
These are the people who make very good CEOs of organizations. Senior management, our senior clergy, our senior politicians, our military generals. We're looking at entrepreneurs, large-scale farmers, because they are risk takers and they are determined to take the risk and get moving. Okay.
What about when it comes, what are some of the, like you've mentioned, I believe in every temperament, there are some strengths, weaknesses.
Yes, so, their strength is they get the job done. Whatever job you have, trust me, they will put in every effort. Leadership is very easy, so they will lead the people. They will get action done. What's their weakness? They push others, or they can push other people. They can get things done. They can work on people if that's what it requires.
Excuses.
They are not time for excuses. They do not have. They are not emotional. They don't show their emotions. They will push people. And so, if you have weak people, if you have sanguines around, they get angry because they do not want stories. They want the action. They don't want excuses. They want the results here. But they are very dynamic. They will get things done and done quickly. Now, when you come into the financial world, they are risk takers. So they can actually take a risk. They will calculate the risk. They will do the investment. They will get things done. And even if when they make money, they like living a good life, but they find it difficult to share their wealth with other people. So I have a good house, I have a good car, I have a good family, but I might be the most successful brother, but I don't bother about the other people. So they like leading on the self, yes. They are dynamically want to drive self. Very organized people, they will pay their bills on time, they will keep their records on time. If you work for an organization and you tell them you didn't pay the bill, they actually come with a file.
They have records.
They have their records, and they will actually ask, well, if they ever come or they call you, ask, who is the boss?
Okay.
And why are you telling people they have not paid well, they paid. This is evidence. Is this receipt from you? And why are you wasting people's time? They come from that point of authority. So they are very authoritative in what they do. And they tend to do very well when they're given a chance to do leadership. They hate failure, so they make an effort to see that there's no failure on their side.
Okay, that's very interesting. So I believe those are now...
Those are our extroverted
those two. Temperaments. Okay.
On the introverted side, and none is better than the other. You cannot say this is better than this. So the question I was going to ask. Yes, and nobody is 100% one at any rate.
Oh yeah, because...
Just that is one that is dominant
as compared to another.
Yes. Okay. So you might be 60% this, 20% this, 30%. And when you do psychometric tests, that's what helps you to understand where you are. And psychometric testing is important even for parents because it can help you you can help your children to pick a career that's rhyming with their personality and their temperament, because that way they'll be able to perform better in whatever careers they get into. Now, when we come to the introverted category, there are two of them.
Okay.
One of them, we call them the melancholic. Okay. Now, the melancholic is that person who is very orderly. Okay. He wants to work alone in his own space. He's very orderly. Everything must be done in a given way. Yes. They are neat, they are clean, they follow protocol, they get things done. They will get things done, but slowly, because every one of them must be meticulously done in a given way. You can see them in the way they dress, in the way they arrange things, in the way they address everything. They are very formal. If they are addressing people, they will start by the protocol. If you ask a sanguine to address people, they'll start with a joke. Yes, okay. If you ask a choleric to address the people, they'll start with the agenda. True. So everybody wants things differently. So they are that dynamic. They are that dynamic in as they will get things done, and they have a gift. They are very artistic. Okay. This is the group of people who can actually go to the gallery and look at what the gallery has to offer. Okay. Trust me, a sanguine can never get to the gallery.
It's not fun.
Going to be very boring. It's not fun. They cannot go to the museum. These ones will listen to jazz music and they will actually enjoy it. Yes. They have a cool heart. So they are able to settle down within. They can actually stay on their own as they are able to work. And that's why in life, they will fit in those careers where we need to work with few people, but we need to work with a lot of information. So very good doctors, accountants, pilots, our researchers, our writers, our university professors, people who can work with a lot of information. They will have a lot of information, they can share it easily, but they can keep it to themselves. Okay. Now, of course, their weakness is they want everything methodical. So if you are actually a melancholic and your child is a sanguine, there will be quarrels every single day.
I didn't think about it like that, but it's making a lot of sense now.
Yes, because you see, you want things methodical, them they want fun. Right. But generally in life, they actually get married to sanguines. Oh, why? Okay. Because they like the spontaneity of the sanguine. The sanguine likes the order of the melancholic.
So it's like you're borrowing from each other.
You're borrowing from each other. You're complementing each other.
That's the word.
Okay.
Yes.
You complement, because the sanguine and the choleric don't agree, because one wants to go fast, the other one wants to go slow. They quarrel a lot. These ones complement each other. And so when you're looking at careers, those are the careers they are going to look at. When it comes to money, they are people who are meticulous even with their money. So they'll go shopping with a shopping list.
Wow.
They will have order. They will have a calculator. They'll go through the shopping mall aisle by aisle. You know, when they go to the supermarket, they go aisle by aisle. They will follow them as they go. Number one, number two. Wow. Of course, the sanguine looks up. They see something there for sale, they go there. These ones will go that way, and they don't like bargains. Okay. They do not want to bargain. So they want the prices that are fixed. So they will actually be able to do their investments by asking very many questions. They will ask many questions until they are contented. And once they are contented, whatever they start doing, they will do it long term. Okay, so they end up succeeding long term. They will end up maybe amassing a lot, but they tend not to spend a lot of it.
Okay, so for them, it's detailed information, not...
Detailed information, evidence that it works. Yes,
Okay.
evidence. And they are not the first ones to get into new things. They tend to be the last ones. As they are analyzing, these ones didn't fall into the quail farming.
Okay.
It is the sanguines who fell in the quail farming. Because they asked many questions, and by the time questions were getting answered,
already
the
done.
bubble had burst.
Yes.
So they never got caught up in that. Of course, they miss opportunities sometimes because they do analysis. And sometimes there can be analysis paralysis, and you find that now it is too late. The opportunity is gone.
Okay.
So those are the melancholics for us. Great people who helps us to keep to order. Who helps us to keep organized, because they are very, very good organizers. While the sanguine is happy to work away from the office, these ones are happy to work in the office.
So late nights, etc. Okay.
Yes.
Another category of introverts, or is that the only?
It is another category of introverts. We call them the phlegmatics. Phlegmatics are those people who are very peaceful, who are quiet, who want to stay in their own space, who easily fit in with other people because they don't make a lot of noise, but they are very friendly. They're easy to get along. You tell them your secret, they will keep it. They are patient, they listen, and they get things done.
Wow.
Now, when you think about them, where do they fit in this world? They fit in all those places where they need to work alone with nobody interfering. And so they make very good backroom office workers.
Techies.
They are techies, yes. We put them in the computer room and they'll be there the whole day. They will be the architect who can be there the whole day. In fact, the pilot who can actually fly the plane without having to make a lot of noise. All they do is say welcome, and they say we are landing. That's it. They don't have a lot of story. But see the amount of information they have to deal with in a given time. And they are very productive because they are able to do something consistently for a long time. When they take up a job, they rarely change jobs. They can work for one employer for 30 years. Remember, the sanguine could not do 2 years. These ones are consistent, they are trustworthy, but they have a big challenge. They only want to do things they've done before. They don't want to try anything new. They are laid back. Sometimes they can be a bit lazy. They can be a bit stubborn. And so sometimes they need somebody to shake them because they have the potential to run the supermarket, but they find just running a kiosk is
what I'm doing.
So they don't use all their talent. Because they take a job and they take it for a long time, you will find they are very consistent in some investments, and they can invest in long-term investments for long. So they actually amass a lot of wealth. But what is interesting is most of their wealth goes to other people because they're very caring. So this is the mother who goes to the shop, buys very many things for the children, and maybe nothing for herself. This is the father who's gone traveling and he's bought goodies for the family, but he has not brought anything for them. So they tend to live for others. They are very good with shopping. They understand early bird offers, where you get discounts, where you get that. They understand that. But when it comes to investment, they like following others. So this is a person in your chama who will say, but the chairman said it is okay. Let's go. Let's go. The chairman said it's okay. We don't need 1,000 questions. You can see the choleric will never take that answer.
That's true.
The melancholic will never take that answer. The sanguine will actually say, let's go and see.
Because
let's go and see. What is this? Because it's an outing. It's going to come. So we are all different, but everybody fits in their own place. So sometimes for the phlegmatic, what we do is help them structure higher goals, challenge themselves. They can actually be able to do more. Again, nobody is 100%. We are all this, but knowing yourself helps you understand how you do investments, how you pay your bills, how you deal with debt, and all the things around you. So it is important, and we always to say to people, you can actually go online and do a test, or you can actually go to a psychologist and do a psychometric test, and that will help you in understanding the other people. I should add that now the phlegmatics get attracted to the choleric. Why do they get attracted to the choleric? They like the way this guy is spontaneous and is a doer. On the other side, the choleric likes the peace this guy has. Even when things are not working, they are not really bothered. So somehow when they meet, they tend to gel with each other.
I like the way you have said that. So I may be strong in one temperament, but I'm also borrowing something from a different. So we are not one out of the 4 weeks. We have a mixture of some levels.
We have a percentage of, some people are dominant. You can actually see this is a sanguine from
100%.
end to end. You have never met this person. You seated next to them in the bath of the plane. They're telling you stories and you like the stories. And when you meet next time, they can't remember your name.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah,
Yes.
because that's not their nature to keep a lot of details.
Okay.
Or the other time you actually meet somebody who is very concerned, they're taking care of you because they're the phlegmatic and that's their nature. You might go into a meeting and you find this person, they are just a stranger in the meeting and they've taken over. Because that's a choleric and they like things getting done. Now you have the other person who comes into the meeting and they are saying, can we start with a prayer? Because now this is a melancholic, there has to be order. We can't just get into the meeting.
Just like that order.
So we all complement each other. We bring value in a workplace, even though, or in a team, even though who has what complement, we are able to work better together because everybody brings in, even in a family, everybody complements the other. So we are able to do much better. And so nobody is 100% one, nobody is better than the other, but we can all bring that advantage to the table.
Okay. Yeah. So, Mr. Wahome, being a beneficiary from your Personal Finance Academy class, I was able to do the psychometric test. So I believe on the description, we have a link to if someone is interested in knowing their temperament, because I believe someone may think I'm an extrovert, maybe I'm an introvert. It's available for us.
Yes, it is available. We have a website, www.pfa.co.ke, and somebody can actually go in there and they will get a guide of how to be able to do it. It is important that we actually find out. But I must also hasten to add, sometimes the way you're born, circumstances can change you.
Okay.
And I've always told people, if you're born first, if you're the firstborn in your family, even if you are not a leader, circumstances force you into leadership.
Okay.
You will find you took care of your siblings at some point, and you lead your life taking care of people.
Yes.
And that is why even when you come to the office, you tend to father or mother other people.
Okay.
If you are actually a second-born, you actually have some choleric tendencies. You like being competitive. You want things done because that's the position you occupied. You had to assert yourself because the firstborn was very well established.
Yeah.
And so that's one. The other one is how are you groomed? Yeah. You might have been born extroverted, but you're brought up in an environment where they kept on pushing you down. Hushing you down until you got quiet and silent. Or it might actually be where you went to school. There are schools where they actually help people to come up very well and to bloom quite early. So all those things affect your temperament as you go along the way.
Okay, so like you've had, at least you can be able to take the test through the website is mentioned, but we'll also have the link on the description below. So now I'd like to change things a little bit. There's something I read from your book and also from class, the cycle of life.
Yes.
I want you to take us through what this cycle of life is, because I believe all of us must go through that entire cycle. So what is this cycle of life? Maybe if you could just tell us.
So this is a book that you talk about. It's called The Wallet Words. It's actually available at Nuria Bookstore, and somebody can always get their copy.
Yes.
Now, life comes to us in three phases. All of us.
Okay.
The first phase for everybody is their childhood. There's nobody who comes into this world without coming through as a child.
Yeah, that's true.
And this is a season where other people take care of you. You have no work, you have no money, you actually dependent on somebody. In fact, we say children are certified consumers.
Yes.
And all they do is they learn one question. Umeliletea nini ama utaninunulia nini? That's it. And they are just fine because that's the season for learning.
Okay.
And we learn many things. We learn language. We learn how to stay with people. We come back to school and we stay in that season until the day you're done with college and you have found gainful employment and you move out. So financially, you stop being a child when you move out. As long as you stay in, you're using somebody's resources to continue your life, count yourself a child.
So here, are we talking in terms of age group? Is it like, let me say 0 to 20?
Yeah, it is 0. And I said, until the day you move out and you go and pay your bills.
So if I
and largely, do you people move in at 16 or 18 when they get the ID, or 21, or even when they're in college at 22? It will be where? 23, 24, 25. And some people even push it to 28 and 30.
Okay.
When you move out and you have found your job, you go to the second phase of life.
And
this is the working life. Okay. This is when now you actually earning and you can pay your bills.
Okay, like my first, so we are talking internship, your first job.
You can pay your bills.
Yes.
You might be doing internship in your child because they cannot sustain you. You stay home with your
Under
parents.
my parents.
So for financial reasons, we consider you a child.
Okay.
You're not paying power and you're not paying water. When you actually take your first job, whether it's an internship or it's your first job, and it is paying you well and you move out. When you move out, now you come to the second phase, which is the working life. And you continue in the working life until the body gives up on you. Okay, so there are two ways. Either the body gives up on you, or you have such good investments that they're generating adequate revenue, you don't need to work.
Okay.
Your income from your investments says you can live without necessarily working. Okay. And that takes us to the third phase, and the third phase is what we call retirement. Retirement is that season in life when you don't wake up to go and earn money to pay your bills, either because your body is not agreeable, or because you have the resources, the investments that are paying your cost of living. So we all go through all those three phases. Again, the age varies from person to person. Different people. Some people confuse that when you're 50, 55, or 60, you leave your employer, you have retired. That's not retirement. That's a transition. You have transited maybe into your own engagement. So you are a teacher. Now you have to go and run a posho mill. You are a banker. You have to go and open a business. You know, you are an engineer. You go and open up your consulting firm. So you have continued to work, just that you're working in a different environment. The only thing we need to know is that in every phase of this life, there are things that are critical that need to be paid attention to. We have said childhood, the children are depending on us. The biggest thing for children is learning. They must get proper grounding. And so parents must invest in their children so that they get better grounding. But naturally, what will they need? They will need clothing. Okay. They will need healthcare. They will need minders. When they are on holiday, you know, they have all these co-curricular activities. You will have to buy them toys, celebrate their birthdays. So if you are a parent and you have a child, it is critical to always think about income security.
Income security.
Because you must secure your income. Okay. Because even if you face what we call the challenges of life, unemployment, accident, sickness, business failure, you know, all those things that interrupt life, the children will still ask their good question. So you must have the money. And that is why contingency planning becomes very important. Insurance becomes important. Investment becomes important. And we always recommend to people, you must work with professionals, people like Martha, who can help you to focus on that area so that it is properly done. And in every of that period we are calling childhood, whether you move out at 25, the money issues are different at every age. The money issues you're dealing with before 10 are not the money issues you're dealing between 10 and 20. Because 10 and 20 is what? High school and college. You know, below 10 is where we had primary school. Now, when we come to the working life, there are many things that are requiring attention. Other than taking the cost of living, paying the rent, you know, paying transport, paying bus fare, and all those things. Now, it becomes important that we think about a bigger budget items like home ownership.
Wow. Okay.
Having investments that can take care of maybe starting to set up money for our retirement, taking our children for holidays. You know, all those things require some attention. That's why planning is important. Understanding setting goals, understanding using budgeting tools, understanding the investment arena. And that's why it's critical to work with professionals, again, like Martha, who can walk you through that phase. Because when we come to the last phase, life is interesting. We find we have a lot of time. We have not too much energy. So we need the money to fill in that space. Because we are not able now to generate the money. Yet the demand is there. And one of the biggest constraints there is healthcare. It's healthcare that we need to do. So it's a cycle. It's something that we have to go through and we have to plan for it at every given stage.
Okay. Now, because you've mentioned the 3 stages, what are maybe some financial mistakes that these 3 that most people tend to make? E.g., okay, maybe childhood not so much, but maybe I have started working. Maybe I'm in my 20s, 30s, 40s. What are some of the mistakes people? Is it borrowing, you know, for my lifestyle? What are some of the things that you've seen that most people tend to make?
From research,
mistakes?
From experience, from my coaching experience, there are some mistakes that we make. And the first mistake we make is living beyond means.
Okay, just explain that
Every
to us.
time you're spending more money than you're making, you're living beyond your means.
Okay.
And it might be something you've not noticed. It might be the cost of rent that you're paying. It might be the place where you take your children to school. It might be actually the lifestyle that you have, the entertainment and everything.
Yeah.
So it is important on a monthly basis to say, what am I spending? And that's very important. And that's why you need a tool. And there's a good tool called Myzora that can help you to actually see how much you're spending every month. You capture your expenses, it tells you what you're spending. And you can put in your income. And on a daily basis, it will tell you out of your income how you're faring on. So it becomes critical to manage that. That's one mistake we make a lot of times without noticing, spending more than you're making. Every time you're spending more than you're making, you're living on debt.
So it's because so it's basically most of us are not having a budget. So money comes, I start spending without thinking. Is that what you're saying?
Yes. There are two things we may not be having. We may not be having a budget. So money comes, we just spend it. Okay. So it is important to have a budget. People make a mistake. And the budgeting process is very simple. We should never pull numbers from the air for a budget. You can't say I'll spend 5,000 or 10,000 for transport. What is the basis? The best basis is your experience. When you capture your expenses on Myzora or any other tool, you'll be very clear how much did I spend on travel. Transport. How much did I spend on airtime? How much did I spend on entertainment? And you look at it and see, do I like it or do I need to change? Can I change? And there are things you can change. If your transport cost is very high, you can look at what is it you can be able to deal with. It might mean you wake up earlier. It might mean you move a house, get closer to where you work. So there are many dimensions. Aspects. It might actually mean you look at how all of you are transporting yourselves in the family. Once you adjust that, now you have a new number. That new number is what fits in your budget. Now, for your budget to work well, the other mistake we make is not having goals. You are not clear what you want to achieve. It is very, very important. You can't take a drive from here and hit Mombasa Road without being sure where you want to go. So if you get to Mororongo, are you there?
No.
So if you get to Athi River, are you there?
Not yet.
Where are you going? You can't hit Mombasa Road without a destination. So it is important to say, in the new year, these are the things I want to accomplish within that year. Could be items of furniture you want to procure, might be electronics, might be debts you want to pay, or some savings you want to do. But it's also important, those are short-term goals. It's also important to think midterm. In the next 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, I want to buy a car. I want to go back to college. I want to buy a property. I want to start a business. I have this international travel I've always desired to do. For each of those things, identify the item. How much is it going to cost and when do you want to achieve it? Because then it's easier to break it down and say, how much do I need to save every month? So that now when your income comes in your budget, you have a provision for that. So you're not wondering, what am I going to do with the money? But as we do that, we also need to look at long-term goals. We should never forget long-term goals. They'll take us 5 years. They'll take us to a lifetime. And they tend to be expensive. So planning for them early is important. And here we're looking at our children's tertiary education. We're looking at our retirement financing. We are looking at our home ownership. We're looking at that big investment that we want to make. Looking at that cruise we want to take. So we can plan for all those things. So the mistake is we live beyond means. We don't have a budget. We do not have goals. The other mistake we make is thinking we will ever remain young.
YOLO.
You only live young. You only young. You only live once. True, but you must live today and live tomorrow. Okay. Because, and I say to people, it's easier to think I'll always be young. When you're 30, you're very young. We can actually certify that. The only people think you're not young are your 5-year-old cousins. Then they think you're too old. Okay. But for you, you can practically say you're young. Now, when you're 30, then you settle down at 30, and God grants you a child at 31. By the time they go to school, you're actually 35. Because they need 4 years to go to preschool. And they'll be in school for 2 years. So when they are done, you're 37. If they come to primary school, they'll be there for 6 years, you'll be 43. Now, if they go to secondary school, another 6 years, you're 49. Now, if they go to college for 3 years, you can actually see you are 52. Pension is calling, and that's the firstborn. Can you see how things have gone very fast? And that's why it requires planning, because in between there, you need a car, you need a house, you need to finance your retirement, you need a business, you need other investments. Without planning, that will become a big, big, big problem. The other mistake that we make is something we say, you support your relations and forget that you have a future.
Okay.
You know something people call black tax?
Yes.
You must work out to make sure that although you're supporting others, you're still moving ahead.
Yeah,
because if you're mark timing, one day you will not be able to support them and you will not be able to support yourself.
Yes,
and that becomes a big mistake.
And then it's like a cycle, because when I get to that age and I start calling my kids, the most basic things, always calling them. So even when they see my call, they're already scared.
Oh, they'll call you Sumbua.
Yeah, exactly.
But we must admit that society is changing, changing rapidly. While there's a generation that took care of their parents when they aged, there's a generation that's not going to take that. We must be obvious about that. When we see Gen Z and we see Alpha and Beta is coming on the way, and the world has become a global village, they will actually go and settle in Australia or some other place. Now, that's why it is important for us to plan, so that we can actually say, how will I finance those days? And those days you finance with the income you're making now. Today. And that's why you need a budget, so that you have a provision for it.
I like the way you've broken it down. Like, I might be in my 20s earning a good job. And when I meet people, there's always, especially I think gents, when we're speaking about saving for their future child's education, whether present or not, they're like, but I don't have a kid today. But I always keep telling them, imagine in 10 years, your expenditure is for self now, but in like 10 years, will it remain that way? So it's good the way you're saying that short term, medium term, long term, you can actually do it from your income today.
But let's agree. They don't even have to bother about the kids.
Yeah.
There's a musical band in this nation, Sauti Sol told us that every child comes with a plate. Just that the plate is always empty. So you have to put in something. Let's not even bother about the children if they are not here. Let's deal with the issues that are here. Yes, you're in your 20s, but you need an apartment.
Yes.
Now, to get that apartment, you need to raise a deposit. So that's the saving that we are doing now. You need a car. We need to raise the deposit.
Yeah.
So that now when the children are coming, at least housing is addressed.
Yes.
You see, otherwise if we keep everything pending, now we'll have too many things pending.
Yeah.
And when we get there, we'll be running something called the rat race. And the rat race is very punishing. That you're earning money, you're trying to fix many things, you're not fixing any of them, and time is moving. That becomes very frustrating.
Okay. Yeah. I think that's good enough. So anything you'd like maybe to mention to our viewers about budgeting Maizola? Why Maizola maybe?
A few things I would want to mention. Yes, when you come to the world of finance, you need financial tools to help you. And one of the best financial tools you have for budgeting is a tool that helps you to be able to say, this is the income and this is where the money is going.
Okay.
And Maizola is that dynamic. It can help you in capturing your expenses. Maizola can help you in capturing your debt so that you can see how they are coming down. Maizola can help you in capturing your investments so that you can also see how they are able to grow. So it gives you a panoramic view of your finances, and you have it on your phone anywhere you go. It doesn't cost you to get Maizola, and it becomes easier for you to be able to work with it. So this is one of the things I would highly recommend. When there are tools make it easier. Now we don't have to do smoke signals because we can actually be able to use the phone. So it is the same thing in the world of money. Let's use the tools because the tools will be helpful. And Maizola is one of those tools that are very helpful.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much. So maybe your final parting shot. Yes.
The final parting shot is, money is personal.
Money is personal.
Developing yourself in your money life is your personal effort.
Okay.
So make it an effort. Get yourself maybe a professional you can work in your personal money space. But equip yourself, train yourself, look for a book to read, look for a course to attend. Because once you build yourself, you're going to be much better even when you're working with a professional. They didn't teach it to you in school. You have to learn it in life. And that becomes your responsibility to equip yourself.
Okay. So thank you so much for your time. I appreciate. To our viewers, again, thank you so much for watching this episode. Please remember to subscribe, like, and share. Thank you very much. See you on the next episode.
We bring you Maizola, a money management mobile app with these powerful features. Budget. To plan where your money goes, set spending limits, and avoid impulse buying. Income. to track income sources and analyze your earning patterns. Expenses, to record daily expenses, track spending habits, and avoid overspending. Savings, to set savings goals, create a savings plan, and track progress towards achieving your goals. Investments, to plan and set money aside for investing. Assets, to monitor value of your assets over time and get a complete view of financial worth. Loans, to plan for loan repayment and monitor progress towards becoming debt-free. Download Myzola app on Google Play Store and App Store.